Imagine a war so short that it lasted less than an hour, yet it changed the course of an entire island's history forever. This is the story of the Anglo-Zanzibar War of 1896, officially the shortest war in recorded history. Grab a seat, because you won't believe how this tiny island faced a global empire and lost in just 38 minutes. Zanzibar, a small but wealthy island off the coast of East Africa, was no ordinary place. By the late 19th century, it was a thriving hub of trade, known for its spices, cloves, and unfortunately, the slave trade. Its rulers, the sultans, managed to maintain relative independence while foreign powers like Britain and Germany expanded across Africa during the scramble for Africa. But the British Empire had its eyes on Zanzibar. Controlling the island meant controlling the trade routes in the Indian Ocean, a vital part of Britain's global empire. Zanzibar's strategic location made it a prize worth fighting for, even for the world's largest navy. The story begins in August 1896 when Sultan Hamad bin Thuwaini, a pro-British ruler of Zanzibar, died suddenly. His death created a power vacuum. By tradition, a new sultan had to be chosen. Britain, of course, wanted someone loyal to them, someone who would protect British interests and allow them to dominate trade and politics on the island. But not everyone agreed. Khalid bin Barkash, the sultan's cousin, decided to take matters into his own hands. He declared himself sultan and took up residence in the sultan's palace, preparing for resistance. Britain saw this as an open challenge to its authority and issued an ultimatum: step down within an hour or face the consequences. Khalid, confident in his 2,800-man force, fortified the palace and ignored the warning. This was the spark for what would become the shortest war in history. The British response was decisive and overwhelming. They positioned 3 cruisers, 2 gunboats, and several smaller ships in the harbor, ready to bombard the palace. Their naval superiority was absolute. The Sultan's forces had only a few antiquated artillery pieces, small arms, and no real naval defense. By 9:02 a.m. on August 27, 1896, the ultimatum expired. Without further warning, the British ships opened fire on the Sultan's palace. The bombardment was precise and relentless. Within minutes, the palace was in flames, and Khalid's forces were quickly overwhelmed. Casualties for Zanzibar were around 500, while the British suffered only 1 sailor injured. The Sultan's defense was symbolic at best, a brave but hopeless attempt against a global superpower. The Anglo-Zanzibar War is more than just a quirky historical fact about a 38-minute war. It's a vivid example of how colonial powers used military might to impose control, often without prolonged conflict. Zanzibar's story also reflects a broader pattern in Africa during the late 19th century. European powers carved up the continent, creating protectorates, colonies, and puppet rulers. Wars were often short, decisive, and asymmetric. The colonizers had modern armies and navies, while local rulers had little chance of resisting effectively. In just under an hour, Britain demonstrated that naval power, strategic positioning, and intimidation were often more effective than prolonged diplomacy or negotiation. The war lasted 38 minutes, making it the shortest recorded war in history. Zanzibar's Sultan was offered safe passage if he surrendered, showing the British weren't aiming for total destruction, just control. Despite its brevity, the war had a lasting impact on Zanzibar society, politics, and its place in the colonial world. So next time you think about history, remember, not all wars are long, bloody, or drawn out. Some wars, like the Anglo-Zanzibar War, last less than an hour, yet leave a mark that lasts centuries. If you enjoyed this story, hit like, subscribe, and join us as we uncover more of history's most incredible and unusual events.